A South Carolina judge is weighing convicted murderer Alex Murdaugh's bid for a retrial. Murdaugh was found guilty last year of killing his wife and youngest son in June of 2021. His attorneys argue the clerk of the court tampered with the jury. Monday, the judge heard testimony from jurors about how they may have been influenced, with at least one of them saying the clerk implied to the jury that Murdaugh was guilty.
Was your verdict influenced in any way by the communications of the clerk of court in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And how was it influenced?
To me, it felt like she made it seem like he was already guilty.
Court clerk Rebecca Hill has denied allegations of jury tampering. Hill is also the focus of two separate criminal investigations. We're taking a closer look at key takeaways from Jennifer Crumbley's trial today, including an apology from the defense attorney and new details in text messages.
Yeah, Christy McDonald is following every minute, streaming live on Local 4 Plus, and she joins us now. Christy, I saw you watching this case closely on your monitor today.
Yeah, Damon and Kimberly, and a lot of times we're watching and there are some significant procedural things that happen and we want to know how it impacts the case. So this segment really is an Ask an Attorney segment on the two big things that people are talking about today. Number one, we heard Jennifer Crumbley's voice today as she said to the court that she wanted all of the Facebook messages between herself and her husband entered into evidence with nothing redacted.
It's the entire Facebook Messenger thread between you and Mr. Crumbley starting in January of 2021, and it goes up through the events that lead us here today.
Correct.
Okay, is it your decision to allow those Facebook messages to be admitted through in the court without redaction?
Yes.
Mr. Crumbley, you understand that throughout the pendency of this case, your attorney on your behalf has sought to exclude certain themes or topics of evidence, in some cases successfully, yet this Facebook conversation does touch upon some of those.
I understand.
All right, let's bring in defense attorney George Giannini with Butzel to get some analysis on all of this. George, it's good to see you. Why would the defense want to make those messages public with no redaction, even if they could bring in some things that had previously been ruled out that they couldn't talk about in court in this case?
Yeah, look, it's curious. I think the reason to allow all of it to come in is to send the message to the jury that, look, I'm not trying to hide anything. And if a very voluminous document has a bunch of redactions and those redactions are done for the benefit of the defense, then, you know, maybe a juror would think we're hiding, the defense is hiding something. And so I guess that's the reason. That said, you know, the lawyers apparently made good arguments, or at least sufficient arguments, to convince the judge to exclude certain things, and potentially here, by allowing this thing to come in unredacted form, you lose that that victory, if you will. So it's curious.
Absolutely. All right, I want to move on to the next thing that people are talking about, and it was an apology from defense attorney Shannon Smith after on Friday she was struggling with her computer during cross-examination, and she actually said, "I'm going to kill myself," while struggling with her computer. She was criticized highly by the prosecution for saying this, and this is how she addressed the court today. Take a listen.
I think it was very clear beyond a reasonable doubt I have difficulty and cannot use technology. In my frustration, I made a comment that was offensive to victims' families, and I did it absolutely by accident as I was struggling with my computer. I am apologizing for that comment. I want to apologize to the jurors, to the audience, to all involved, and specifically to the victims and the families of the victims. I truly did not mean to say the comment I made.
All right, George, how often do we see attorneys apologize on the record like this, and how does this impact how a jury sees an attorney in a case like this?
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously an emotionally charged case. She made a comment that I'm sure she regrets making. She didn't mean any offense by it. However, the concern is that it would be taken the wrong way by a juror, or, you know, the jurors would think that she's being insensitive to victims and victims' families. So that's the reason why she apologized, I'm sure. Again, I'm sure she was, you know, mortified that she made the comment. It had nothing to do with the case. But look, as the lawyer, your reputation in the courtroom is what you're trying to establish. You want to be, in command of the facts, in command of the case, in command of the presentation of materials when you're in there. And when you slip up like that, it goes against that. So she was trying to kind of get out from under it, I guess.
Yeah, especially on the second day of the trial. All right, George Nannini from Butzel, thanks so much for the analysis, little expert input there. I really appreciate it. And I want to let you know at home, if you missed any of the testimony today, join us tonight on Local 4 Plus, streaming live at 8 o'clock tonight. We're going to give you what we call our testimony of the day. And you are going to be hearing from the Oakland County Sheriff's Sergeant who spoke to Jennifer and James Crumbley just several hours after the shooting. You're going to see video of their conversation in one of those small rooms. And then when Jennifer and James actually see their son for the first time after the shooting hours later. And then join me back tomorrow morning starting at 8:30. We're going to be streaming day 4 of Jennifer Crumbley's involuntary manslaughter case. We're going to send it back to you.
All right, Christy, thank you so much.